Hola, soy Phil Jones otra vez with another review lesson. En esta lección vamos a repasar información sobre los verbos con cambios de ortografía, pero cambios internos de ortografía. We're also going to be looking at affirmative command forms in English. So if you have not looked at page 110 in a while, I recommend that you stop the video, have a quick look at page 110 as a review of the stem change verbs. We're not going to do a whole lot with practice this, so it's just a couple of comments about it. But in essence, a couple of reminders. One is because of the nature of the fact that you should know how to conjugate verbs at this point. That's a start. And then also, the only thing that changes, the endings do not change on stem change verbs. An ER verb still conjugates like an ER verb, an AR verb like an AR verb, and IR verbs, of course, like IR verbs. But one thing that if it would help you, have a look at this chart, and I've highlighted a particular area. If I could draw a boot on with using Microsoft Word, I would, but I highlighted the ones that actually have a stem change. And sometimes in Spanish, if you are a visual person and can remember and look at this chart, then just the highlighted area forms a shoe verb or a boot pattern. So if that somehow helps you, by all means use it. If it doesn't help you, forget it. But just to review, notice that in yo quiero, the E goes to IE. Tú quieres, same thing, E to IE. Usted, él, ella quiere. And then nosotros, and in the vosotros form, it does not change. Queremos, queremos, queréis. Okay? Those are the two where the stem does not change. And that is the pattern, and I hate to say all of them without looking at the individual verbs, but I'm pretty sure that it's all of them will follow this similar pattern. And then, of course, back to the ustedes form, ellos, ustedes quieren, Q-U-I-E-R-E-N. Of course, the verb form, the stem changes again in that third person plural form. But you can pretty much plug any of those verbs into this chart, and it will work similarly, and the stem change will basically be what is pointed out to you in the book. Okay, enough with that. I want to move on to affirmative commands. And if you don't remember what an affirmative command is in English, it's basically telling everybody to do something. Now, in Spanish, when you tell someone not to do something, the verb form changes again. So for our specific purposes, we're saying things like sit down, read your book, eat something, rest. Okay? Again, we're not saying to anyone, don't eat, don't sit down, because that changes. So for our purposes, we are specifically talking about telling someone to do something. Okay? And if you will remember, and if hopefully you've turned off the tape and reread page 118, if you will remember, there were one form that we're looking at. Now, I do want to point out that although this is the he, she, and the usted form, that's not what we're saying. This is second person. Of course, the second person is the tú form. That's when you know someone well enough, or you're good friends with someone, and this is the verb form that you would use. It's the informal one, but we still, if you will, the third person ending. Okay, so if I'm going to say to someone speak, I would say habla. If I'm going to say to someone eat, I'm going to say come. All right, that's the way that one works. If I'm going to tell someone to write, I'm going to say escribe. All right, all of those are the third person ending, but it's telling someone, giving someone a command to do something. Speak, eat, write. As you know, also, there are some irregular forms. Irregular forms, you can't do anything but memorize it. There are some similarities which will hopefully allow you to remember those, but you simply have to memorize those. There's no other way. Okay, so let's do a little bit of practice. And if you will, vamos a ver, por favor, la actividad 4-18. Esta actividad se encuentra en la página 119. A sus órdenes, Doña Rosa. Completa. And notice that one is a to form. Completar, completa. So it tells you complete. La siguiente conversación entre Doña Rosa y los chicos de la casa cuando los mandatos informales, usando los mandatos informales de la lista. Puedes usar los verbos más de una vez. All right? I encourage you, look through these either one at a time and listen to my response, or just stop the video completely, go through and see if you can figure them out before we move on. But I'm going to move on, and you can stop me as you need to. So in number 1, Manuela is saying to Alberto, Alberto, come with me to wash the dishes. The verb to come is venir, and the informal one is ven conmigo. Número 2, Albert says, wait a minute. And he says, espera. Espera, if you think about it, esperar is the verb, and the third person ending is espera. Número 3, Albert, do your homework after. Haz la tarea. 4, Albert says, no me oyes, Manuel? You don't hear me, Manuel? Have patience. Ten paciente. And of course, in English, we say be patient, but in Spanish, people say have patience. Número 5. Muy bien. Clean the table off. Quita la mesa. Y te ayudo en la cocina con los platos. Number 6, Manuel says, yes, thank you. Put the plates, or put the dishes in the dishwasher. Pon. And then he says, water the plants. The verb for to water is regar, but it is a stem change verb, so it's riega. And of course, the original is regar. And number 8, before beginning, call Alberto. Okay? He's a little bit lazy. So to call someone is llamar. So it becomes llama Alberto. All right? I want to do one more with you, and it's a Kia exercise, and then the additional resource that I have for you is Study Spanish. Now, if you decide to go to the Study Spanish one, you will see a negative form also. You will not be able to do that one. Just do the ones that is in the affirmative command, because if you do the negative command, you'll get the wrong answer because you don't know how to do it yet. So I think about every other one, but it will give you some additional practice if you just decide to go there and do the affirmative command only. Okay, so here's an let me make sure I'm getting this in the right place here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think we can start this now. Yep, so if I'm going to tell someone listen, taking it to the third person, escucha. If I'm going to use pasear, which means to take a stroll, the third person would be pasea. And so that's telling someone, take a stroll. Open, like open the door, abre. To write something, so you're telling someone write. E-S-C-R-I-B-E, escribe. If I'm telling someone to run, of course it's conjugated, corre. And that's third person singular, but telling someone you run. Okay, this is a stem change verb. The U goes to UE. And in the third person, it's juega. Okay, it is an AR verb. Toma. I'm telling someone to visit. So if I say to someone, visit Mexico, I would say visita. If I'm telling someone to eat, come. And if I'm telling someone to read, I would say lee. And if we submit our answers, hopefully we got them all right. And we got 100% as you can see. All right. And finally, again, if you, oh, by the way, I did look for two command forms with a tontito frito, and probably the best one, he does a formal versus informal, but that may confuse you, so I'm not recommending going there. But I do recommend going to studyspanish.com if you feel like you need additional help with this one. Alrighty, I hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.